Hello and welcome to the DWR Randomizer Co-op Challenge Cup. Tonight we have a semifinal matchup to decide one half of the finals, with the top two members of the Alefgard Conference meeting once again. On the left side we have Surf and Turf, made up of Big Slamu and Nimenva, and they are facing off against Destorius Duo on the right, which is made up of Destiny of a Dragon Warrior and Arturius 308. While I say first and second, these two teams actually tied in points in the regular season with 18 apiece, but Surf and Turf advanced out of the top as the top seed due to the tiebreaker of having a couple more, I believe one more win across the 5 weeks in terms of direct times. Then in the playoffs, both teams defeated their Torlandian opponents. Surf and Turf took out Can-Am Surprise, and Destorius Duo beat RNG 37. As for what Co-op Dragonware Randomizer is, though, it is your usual Dragonware Randomizer, except the emulators are linked via a Lewis script. The racers on the teams will share inventories, except for herbs, and they'll share gold and XP and some game states such as the princess being rescued, or the Dragon Lord being defeated, or Charlotte being opened. They also, hope for them, will be sharing their screens and communicating over Discord, relaying information that may be helpful at the time. As for the flags, the playoffs are exclusively using what is being called the usual, a flag set designed for co-op, which I will get to after the opening, which is 10 to 12 power depending on your build, and 6 defense points. No spells. You'll see some racers skip over the first couple chests while some take it. The opening chests will be Dragon Scale and a Fairy Water. So they'll have 2 Fairy Water to use here, but nothing too fancy. As for the flags, we have leveling speed as normal, which sounds slow, but 2 racers will be sharing their experience and their gold, so we'll be going pretty quick relatively. Meanwhile, speaking of pretty quick, Arturius makes it into the nearby town, which is Cantlin. Potentially very useful if they can get enough money to get some more fairy water. You may also be noticing some of these enemies are giving a bit weird numbers in terms of rewards. That is because random, consistent XP and gold rewards are on. So every enemy has a range. They will roll somewhere in that range. And some enemies generally roll better or worse. Metal Slime's one of the often worst enemies in the seed because you probably won't kill them. You probably can't run from them, and they're only worth about 30 to 40 experience. Meanwhile, though, levels have gone by really fast. Those 2 Fairy Water making quick work of several higher tier enemies. So you've already seen level 4 on both sides, which jumped the AP all the way up to 39. And the defense points didn't go up much, but they did go up to 17. Resources solid for this point as well, and the Spell of Outside, which is potentially useful, though obviously not right now. Unfortunately for both teams, unless they can keep a hold of some money, they are now going to be out of fairy water for the foreseeable future, so things are going to slow down a bit here. In addition to those flag sets mentioned above, we also have Heal and Hurt before more, which means you cannot get Heal more or Hurt more until you have the base version of the spell, which means you can get them both on the same level, but generally it means you won't get one until after you've got the other. Meanwhile, level 5 on Destorius' side, giving them the Spell of Outside and a tiny little bump to stats that isn't worth noticing at all. Meanwhile, Nimenva finds coal, I believe to the north of Cantlin. Did check the spike tile, but found a green dragon, which is another change. Treasure guards are on, which means the 3 trading items and both Erdrick's gear pieces have a treasure guard on them, unless, because there is a flag for this, they're on the overworld search spot, because the overworld search spot cannot be guarded. Green Dragon is the high end of what the treasure guards can be, so that will be a while before you see that. Sometimes it can be something like a Wraith Knight, a DK, and maybe you say, well, get enough fairy water and we'll be able to take that out, but unless it's got some sort of nerfed ability Niminvad didn't benefit from the first time through, that is not going to be an easy get now. Meanwhile, we also have the final flag, I think. Things have moved pretty quickly, so I've had to interrupt the flag count several times, because this has been a bit of a barn burner so far. But hints are corrected, so the NPCs in town that give you some sort of directional hint will now actually give you a corrected version of that with a cardinal direction to go from. So talk to the guard in the throne room the very first time before you leave, and he'll tell you, hey, Brecconary is to your east or west or north or south. It is only a single cardinal direction, so not always the most helpful. It could be 90 west and 89 north, and all you're gonna know is it's west. But can sometimes be a really big bit of information. So we now have level 7 already on one side, level 6 on the other side. Slamu trying to find some gear that is not a bamboo pole. But will not find, it will only find a bamboo pole. The most worthwhile of all the weaponry. Meanwhile, level 7 did, or no, level 6 did give us heal. So a bit of help there, but right now both teams are just trying to kill things as fast as possible. So really probably hoping to find a weapon somewhere, as Slamu will check another shop. Well, try to check another weapon shop. Ooh, a copper sword, that is exactly what they wanted. I think I may have seen something else there too. Maybe a hand axe? Maybe oh no, I think it was a broadsword. So that's useful, but obviously they won't have the money for them now. Speaking of random consistent stats, the golem that 2 members on different teams, the top side was synchronized killing spree by golems. Those are almost never worth it. They generally roll below 100, and for the effort to kill them, it's just disgusting. Arturius, meanwhile, now founding the town of Cole as well, will also... Oh, no, not quite enough money for the copper sword. I'm gonna wait here for the poltergeist kill, but it runs away. And then gets another and it dodges and runs away. Feels bad. But that droll will give them enough money to get that done, and they will also pretty quickly probably also find out about the guarded search spot, although maybe they already have, because Arturius is immediately leaving. So a bit of a flat-footed race here to finding anything that's useful beyond healing. We have seen some Charlotte mobs around, and while the golems aren't immensely threatening, only 46 HP, they can tear through you, especially when your AP, or when your DP, I should say, is low. And the agility is 39, which is not bad, but, you know, not going to help you get away from enemies such as a red dragon or an AK-47. And with this HP total, even something like a Star Wyvern is not terribly unlikely to kill you if it run blocks you once. So both teams will just be electing to keep on this grind, and as you can see, it is going really fast. Level 8 now for Destorius, but mostly just a pile of MP and the spell of Repel. The good news is their defense points are still so low that Repel is actually still potentially useful to repel down to some things. Although, Surf and Turf does grab that chainmail, which will help them out, but eliminate the amusing possibility for a repel grind. That said, cave on Imenva's side, and freebie cave. So 2 chests in here, rolled a bit lower than they usually do, but one is a key, and the other is a torch. So the key, very useful, and since this is just freebie cave, you can very easily just do what I imagine Nimenva is indeed doing, and just pop out, grab another key, walk out, grab another key, over and over again. So one of the sides can now print keys. That said, not as big as it could be if Sword is sitting in Tangel, for instance, or behind a lock chest in Cole, or Cantlin. It will have a treasure guard on it, and quite a few of those you still can't really beat, although the fairy water does make it possible if they get some and find the right enemy. There's a gold. Speaking of gold, there's a gold chest in Tangel Treasury, so that is really useful information. Potentially could set up a gold grind here. Also the possibility for 2 chests in the back. At least one of them rolled on. And it is more gold. And the other one did not roll on, so the only thing left back here is to spend some of that hard-earned money on keys. Meanwhile, Nimenva is checking the overworld coordinates. Now that, if it's close, is actually a very big potential deal. Because again, those coordinates will not be guarded, so if sword or armor is on there, you can just walk right up and take it. That said, it could also be 5 miles away. Meanwhile, under Tangel, we have Grave. So, almost certainly a self-contained gold grind is possible. Meanwhile, the coordinates at 35 south and 20 east are also very possible. You do not need to rescue the princess for that. So they have a big information advantage, potentially. But, on the other side, the story is starting to stretch out a decent XP lead. So far, they've only been rewarded with Radiant, although it will make doing this grave dive that Slimu is currently in and grinding herbs or keys would have to be, probably herbs, much faster. Although, the werewolf down here will make it even slower for Slimu. Meanwhile, I believe Nim looks like he is doing the count. Won't be able to get to it from here, but we'll be able to set up a landmark, or just reset the count and go around. Meanwhile, Destoria is still in that mode of just trying to grind a bit more. Unfortunately for them, some of these enemies here are starting to run away from them. And there is the danger for them that if Slimu does set up a gold grind with Cantlin right nearby, potential for big rewards. It's a large shield that isn't a large shield in Grave. Meanwhile, getting just plagued by Sherlock enemies. And that golem nearly takes him out. Doesn't quite. Another one, but gets to the chest, and it is more gold, so he has the gold grind now. That is absolutely fantastic. The only downside is that Nim is currently out doing this count. They do have return, though, so after Nim is done with the count, can very easily just return and go in, and we know there was definitely a flame sword. I don't remember about a silver shield or a magic armor, but they also, I don't know that they've checked the lock shop either, so odds are pretty decent, I would say, that they just go full Monty and just grind out all 32-ish thousand. Speaking of grinding out on the other side, Arturius and Destiny still trying to just chip away and get to level 10. It should be at around 2,000. So they're getting pretty close. Meanwhile, Nim back into Cantlin after, I guess, giving up on the coordinates. Maybe wasn't reachable from where Nim was at the point. But we'll grab a flame sword, I believe, there, and then check the lock shop. And be rewarded with nothing. So not able to actually purchase any of the top tier gear. Oh no, oh okay, there was a silver shield, okay. So there was a silver shield, and they now have it, and they also now have a flame sword. So if Hurtmore especially is a far bit away, this experience gap between the two teams could very quickly vanish. That said, if Hurtmore is very close, the experience gap could only, you know, widen, and the expiration gap could close very quickly with having that Radiant spell. Okay, Destiny is healing up. Looks like they want to try checking on that spike tile, but it will not be beatable unless it has some sort of very nerfed ability. And it does not look like it has much at all, but Destiny will be trying to heal through it in the hopes that it does something like cast a hurt spell or wonder where its glasses went or some sort of thing like that. But unfortunately, it knows exactly where everything is, and it knows that Destiny is currently back home. So, not really doable now. That said, with Flame Sword and Silver Shield, Nimenva is going to go right back there and try to take it on again. And right now, with no sight of magic armor, probably really hoping the armor was under there, but instead it will be a trip back home for Nimenva as well, and no more gold for the magic armor, although it won't take too much longer to build that gold back up if they want to try to survive things. So a pretty big experience lead for Arturius and Destiny, but a pretty big exploration lead for the other side of Big Slamu and Nimenva. Meanwhile, level 10, I did not see it yet, but once the stats flip over, we will have that, which is pretty much, a big MP boost, but that's not really what you're in the mood for when you're trying to get that level. You're really hoping for something to spin that MP on, or agility, or HP, or strength. That said, a bit of exploration lead will vanish now as Arturius does find Freebie Cave. I imagine they will do the same exact thing, although no, they're gonna just return. And I don't remember if there was a key in here, although I guess they just go into the back. Yeah, they've got enough money now. They were short on money for a little bit, but now they got enough money to just go into the back, buy 2 keys, and that gold chest will mean they can just print money after that. And then after that, they can print money again with the gold grind if they choose to pursue it. Meanwhile, a sight you'd never seen without these flags, Slamu attempting to run from a stop spell metal slime. But again, it will pretty much never be worth it, except maybe in the early game if you have nothing to kill and it isn't running away yet. That said, the other thing to note is we've been through the top of Grave and through several towns with keys and Freebie Cave, and yet they find a single quest item. We do have one treasure guarded thing that has to be a quest item or Erdrick's gear, but not able to get that yet. So, 2 towns on Big Slamu's side. Run blocked by that golem, but gets away. We'll heal up and try to get into those towns before encountering another one. Very nervy enemy, even with decent agility. Oh, I think those... Oh, okay, no, that's back into Cole and Cantlin. So Arturius into Grave now. Oh, and you've mentioning in chat, the Blue Dragons rolled 220 XP That is about as high as you'll ever really see them, and a fantastic enemy to fight then if you can find one. Meanwhile, Arturius diving into grave and checking some of the top areas, does get slept by a werewolf. I don't know if we've seen that yet, but that is potentially a very big annoyance, especially if you don't have the silver shield in Charlock. Though it could still be said annoyance if it turns out the agility just doesn't want to rise. Arturius will give up on the potential of, Arturius is thinking, could set up the gold grind if you leave and re-enter. Unfortunately for Arturius, it won't be a huge time loss, but turns out if you just keep going into grave, you set up the gold grind no matter what. Yeah, Nim on the other side did a brief attempt at a count, but encountered another blockage. May have to take several coordinates just to make it around to the part where the coordinates end up being. And now that I think about it, I don't know that we've actually seen this chest in coal yet from either of our teams. Meanwhile, Destiny finding Brecconary could have some chests in here, but if there were, I don't think... Oh, no, there is one there. Along with a magic armor, which could potentially be very helpful considering they're about to set up a gold grind. Meanwhile, Slemu on the other side, taking another run at this green dragon. And will not get it again. And the green dragons are feasting well tonight. I believe they've taken out 4 attempts so far. So both teams kind of catching up with each other in their various fields. Niminva starting to cut... Surf and Turf starting to cut into the experience lead a bit. Still down about 1,100, but for a while there I think it was a little bit higher than that. Meanwhile, Arturius and Destiny on the other side, Destorius Duo, cutting into the exploration lead, although currently being sent back from grave again, this time by a golem. That is unpleasant. But again, when you only have 56 agility, the golem doesn't need to block you that many times before it just says, you know, go home. That said, did set up the gold grind, so we'll just start gold grinding here, and they know where magic armor is, but that will slow them down because Destiny is waiting on that before leaving Brecconary. So they'll have the magic armor an advantage, but it will cost them around 10-15 seconds of dead air, as it were. And also doing circles now, I think maybe there was something else in the shop here, which is unfortunate because Destiny could just leave and do other things now, or talk to some of the hint NPCs, or do something, because Caitlyn is just outside in the starting zones, so it's probably impossible, I think, given how few bad abilities we saw early on, that something could kill Arturius on the way to Caitlyn. But they may not have remembered all the shops in Caitlyn. Speaking of things getting people getting sent home by things, that also just happened in Minva again. Exploration proving a little bit tricky right now. And Niminva may be making another attempt on that green dragon. Although we'll take a stop spell Star Wyvern, if possible, on the way there. But it doesn't look possible right now. Oh, gets a stop spell there, I think maybe has it, and does. And the Goldmen also good at 89. They generally roll into the 80s and 90s, sometimes only into the 70s. And meanwhile, with that purchase, Destorius will have the best gear money can buy, and will replenish their keys. And I believe they haven't maybe found, haven't checked the coordinates yet, so that will also be something. But on the other side, Niminva taking on that green dragon again, maybe has it this time, but doesn't feel comfortable. So we'll just exit the fight, heal up, and try again, which is, if you've checked your numbers and think you aren't going to get it, probably a good idea. So they're really hoping they can find sword or preferably even armor on that spot. Meanwhile, Arturius and Destiny probably hoping, retrospectively, once the race is over, that spot will have been something like a trading item. But for now, we won't know because Nim once again dies to the green dragon. The kills are rising. I believe about maybe half the kills. Oh, Destiny got it, and it's the sword. Oh, that is actually big then. It's not a huge upgrade from Flame Sword, but when you don't have Hurt More, and might not for several more levels, that upgrade is pretty nice. What's not pretty nice is Destiny being blocked from that chest by the NPC. Meanwhile, Niminva again sent home. As is Big Slammo trying to take on those Weak Breath Axe Knights, and just, again, the HP is such that you just can't always manage to take these enemies on. You gotta try. Ah, yes. That is a sprite bug that happens when you have a battle in a spot where an NPC is, because usually that can't happen. But if you have a battle in an area like a town or Tanagel, an NPC that moves around can get desynced with where it actually is, and either end up in the walls or end up, say, not where you think it is and blocking you repeatedly. So Big Slammo will once again be trying the spike tile. That said, as noted in chat, the XP lead has vanished and very slightly gone in the favor of Surf and Turf. That said, Exploration is now functionally very slightly in the lead, although not anymore, of Destorius, because Big Slammo has just finally killed that green dragon for Surf and Turf, and they now have the sword as well. So, a very even race, basically nothing separating the two teams right now. As noted by RG, the one thing that isn't shared, while the most states are, is the treasure guards aren't shared in terms of them going away. You can only beat a treasure guard once, but your partner can still beat that. That said, probably don't want to try it right now, because it's still... like, if you miss, it's still a bit of a rough fight, but you get, like, 5 more HP, especially now that they have Sword. That's a delicious fight to go into, especially if you need to heal for some reason around home. You have to go into Cole anyway, you know. Go in, fight the green dragon, and then use the inn, and leave again. Meanwhile, Niminva finding a very nice zone. Wyverns, which generally roll pretty nicely. Though Destiny on the other side finding a Magic Wyvern, which tend to roll fantastically, and that's a 108 Magic Wyvern. Ah, okay, this is the zone where they've been fighting the Axe Knights a little bit, yeah. So they both appear to be, both Arturius and Nim, both in the same zone, although Nim is just passing through on his way to explore other things. Maybe doesn't know about the Axe Knights being a little bit annoying. That said, if it misses the stop spell, it's an absolutely fantastic enemy. It's just when it doesn't miss that it suddenly becomes a bit troublesome. So very slight XP lead for Big Slamu and Niminva, and they will get hurt more just a split second before, but Arturius and Destiny right behind it, just within seconds. So right now, it is absolutely anyone's game. The big thing right now is where is armor and where are all the trading items. We have seen Top of Grave, we have seen Coal, we have seen Cantlin, we have seen Freebie Cave, and we have seen Tenral Treasury, and yet we have seen only one item, and it is technically not required, although very welcome in a seed where it was level 12 to get to hurt more. Looks like Big Slamu running into a Jerk Cave there. And meanwhile, trying to get away from this blue dragon that has hurt and very nearly not managed. Nim manages to walk back to start, but now getting mobbed by a bunch of enemies. And both teams just frantically trying to find something, anything out in the world. Meanwhile, welcome in DK and various raiders. We are in the middle of a co-op race that so far is looking to be a just absolute no separation contest. We have Surf and Turf on the left, Destorius Duo on the right. Both teams have found basically all the same locations, cleared all the same enemies, by which I mean the single treasure guard they found so far to get the sword. Both teams have the coordinates. But so far, armor and all three trading items are sitting out there somewhere. We know something is on the overworld search spot, and I don't believe either team has made it there yet. It looks like maybe you can't get there from First Continent, I think maybe. But speaking of, we do have a cave that I think is maybe new. Oh no, Slamu is not going for it. Granted, it could just be Slamu didn't see the path there. Oh yeah, going through here. So yeah, I think that is a new cave. We finally found something new. It's been so long. It's been around, honestly, 20 minutes since we saw something that... Oh, but no, he's not walking in that direction. So I think maybe that isn't new. Hopefully Slamu didn't just miss it, although I think maybe, oh, Slamu was just maybe mapping something at the time and didn't quite go down that path, but is going in now. One thing, neither team has checked his deep grave, grave under Tangential, but both teams have just scoured the top for a gold grind, and a bunch of herbs and so forths. So we have the cave, and it is swamp. If there is a second continent with coordinates, this could be very big. That said, depends on if they took a landmark. Because 35 and 20 is not exactly the sort of thing you want to try reverse counting. Meanwhile, so they're going to also be checking the north randomized chest, which did not roll there. And then also checking, very likely, the spike tile. Running a bit low on resources, though, so this could be a bit of a dangerous check. Definitely hoping for something hurt moreable. Stone Man is technically vulnerable, but that is a terrible enemy. Oh, though it does have Stop Spell. Oh, if Slamu... Oh no, they don't have Stop Spell. Oh, this is gonna be risky. Oh, but it's also got hurt. Oh, this is fantastic. If this rolled nice... Oh, it did not roll nice. Well, it's at the very least it's fantastic for Slamu's odds of getting back through this area if he wants to save the MP very easily. But will not be rewarded with a chest. There can be a chest rolling into Grayland's cell, but they will get the princess, and just thanks to timing, Nim will be able to return, and this is one of those states that's shared. If one partner is carrying the princess, the other partner is, so the other partner can turn in the princess. So a bit of a relay race there with the princess, and that will potentially prove very useful, because Slamu might be in the area that it is, that the search spot is. Meanwhile, Destiny checking Deep Grave, and that is a potential treasure guard right there. Things suddenly becoming very, very quick. Death Necklace on the Overworld search spot. That is not likely to be important. Though AP is at 110 at level 12, 119 with a strength build on level 13. So very potentially going to be strength go. Meanwhile, we do have Erdrick's armor in Deep Grave. So that is actually very huge. Niminva has had keys for, I believe, a little bit longer, but has not yet tried that check. And to be fair, chests can roll anywhere a lot of times. Deep Grave can have 4 potential chests. So a lot of towns can have about as many. So generally, it's just as good to go and find a town, but this time, basically required. Meanwhile, we have Token and Hawksness. And Fairy Flute was also found in that Brecconary Inn chest. So all the items are starting to come together really quickly. But not for both the teams at the same time. One team has the token from Hawksness, the other team has the armor from Deep Grave. And speaking of Deep Grave, Destiny finishes diving it. There's no chest in the final spot. So it's really just going to come down to, right now at least, how fast the teams find the remaining 2 items. Silver Harp and Stones of Sunlight still outstanding. And then both teams also need to find the item that the other team has so far found. That said, one potential advantage with that armor, compared to a full plate, you're going to be able to walk through swamp, you're going to be able to resist deal 2 breath, and to a lesser degree deal weak breath. And also resist stop spells. Never mind the heal walking and better defense. So Arturius and Destiny will have a little bit easier time, presumably, doing the rest of the exploration. That said, speaking of, Slamu finds a town and it is Garenham, potentially very big. 5 chests in Garenham, and in addition to that, there is also what is under Garenham, potentially. Obviously, it could be a trading cave that they can't actually use yet. RG, one of the trackers, noting Tablet, Harp, or Mountain are the outstanding checks in terms of caves. You'd really love to see Mountain right about now, but Tablet has the potential for 3 chests as well, so that's not a bad find. But we have a treasure guard, a Magic Reverend quickly taken out for the Silver Harp, and that is a very nice item to have. Of the 2 remaining items that we don't know about, it's about as good as it gets, because you want to have that before you find Freebie Cave. That said, they're also running low on keys. Luckily, not a treasure guarded chest. Not treasure guarded. A chest in that locked door right there. Meanwhile, into Tablet, and we found stones by Nim. So the racers, I believe maybe Destiny is also in Tablet. The racers don't know this, but we now know that every item is outstanding. So that'll be Destiny and Arturius grabbing their item in Tablet, which was Stones. I don't know if they have the item in Garenham. No, they don't. So they do need to find that. And unfortunately, not being able to find that means they won't be able to do that staff trading right now. So they are looking for Hawksness and Garenham. Meanwhile, Big Slemu and Niminva looking for Deep Grave, but they find Mountain instead. That said, once they find Mountain, they have checked maybe everywhere else. And Destiny now finding Swamp, so that is very big because that is going to lead a second continent, which we know has to be there, and has to be a second continent, I should say. And that is where the Overworld search spot, which isn't really important, along with the town of Garenham is. So right now it's just a race to go, and a race to getting these last little checks done for both teams. Speaking of Go, Destiny and Arturius have now hit level 14. Didn't see any HP gain. Yeah, there's basically like 1 HP gain. That is nice, but not what you want right now. Every other stat is Go for co-op. You don't actually fully need AP. It can be nice to have, but this is honestly fantastic enough. But you need the HP, obviously, to be a little bit higher than 69. Slemu, meanwhile, finding Rimuldar. We know there can't be anything there at all, except the Fighter's Ring, I guess. So potentially that's something that Destiny Arturius could save a little bit of time on, because they will probably not manage to make it here before they find the various other things. And Destiny finding... Destiny finding Hawksness, but wants to check for the coordinates first. Yes, to answer the question in chat, as already said, they share the inventory except for herbs. They share a bunch of states, including the game being over because the Dragon Lord was defeated state. They also share XP and gold. So you'll see, if you can see 2 of them on their stats, or at least menu at the same time on the left and the right, you'll see they have the same amount of gold and the same amount of XP. Most of the time. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag between things registering, but generally the numbers will be the same. Meanwhile, Destiny clearing that Hawksness spike and clearing the Overworld search spot, so just needs the harp. Could technically save time by going the other way to Garenham, but obviously this is the direction that Destiny was already going because of Hawksness, so checking this direction first. But very likely both teams are going to be hitting Grind and Go at the same time, because Niminva is now into not into Deep Grave, into Grave and going in a Deep Grave. So they will have their armor very shortly, and they won't have to dive the rest of Grave. The only downside is that the one item Destorius lacks is the harp. I think Arturius might be near Harp Trading Cave, but if not, they really need to just have Arturius sitting there and being in advanced position to do that trade. And yep, right next to the Harp Cave, Maybe going for it a little bit early, because there's going to be potential dead time here. But luckily it's going to be this chest right here, so there won't be much time to wait for Destiny. Meanwhile, Nim going down the center staircase. I think maybe the staircase is either the normal path staircase that leads to the fourth chest is the one that is going to pay off, I believe. But I could... Nope. This is indeed Nothing Burger, so it is that other chest. But the second he gets it, they will also be done. They do, on the right side, Destorius does need to turn in for the rainbow drop, but that's really the only real separating factor after the treasure guard is beaten. That and XP, which right now is about 70 to 80 ahead for Surf and Turf. So this is shaping up to be a just absolutely flat-footed race in Sherlock if they both like the same go level. Both teams, for a split second there before the kill registered for Surf and Turf, were basically tied. I think maybe one experience apart. So this is shaping up to be very, very spicy of an ending. Meanwhile, Niminva getting that armor for Surf and Turf. Right now, it's just get to a grind and get some HP. The one thing to note is with 110 MP and 82 agility, and both teams having the Silver Shield and Erdrick's Sword, if they want to go off that too, there is very likely not going to be a go level that is an obvious go. With Fairy Water, you functionally have 134-ish AP, because one thing you can do in co-op is one partner can be in the Dragonlord fight and throw the Fairy Water, the other partner can be in Cantlin or Breckenary and buying the Fairy Water. Meanwhile, speaking of HP and go levels, 82 on level 15, and that is not going to do it. 16 is required. But yeah, you can basically just toss Fairy Water to your partner and have them toss it on the Dragonlord. That was the rule set for the first co-op tournament that was held 4 years ago-ish, which was the Bucket Brigade. That said, AP might be traditional strength go before anything else is. Ooh, I love this play actually by Niminva. Oh no, Niminva doesn't have... Yeah, okay, Niminva is just opening the way and then returning. One thing you can definitely consider with this much MP is having a partner just start diving ahead of time. Generally maybe waiting like half a level in, and then just diving under the assumption that, you know, any solid HP gain is go, and you're not likely to... Oh, they don't have Healmore too. Thank you for pointing that out, Joof. Yeah, they don't have Healmore yet. Healmore is on level 16. So yeah, that does muddy the waters quite a bit. That play is obviously a lot riskier if you don't have Healmore, because if you run into something dangerous, your use is cooked. That said, we have run into a lot of things that have Stop Spell or Hurt or various abilities like that, so Sherlock isn't looking that dangerous right now, but still, it's a risk you don't probably want to take. But speaking of levels and so forth, with Niminva doing a couple little checks and so forth, while Arturius and Destiny were both on that grind, the XP lead has widened up pretty heavily in favor of Destorius. nearly 2,000 ahead. They are basically gaining experience at half the amount, or double the amount. That said, Nim is taking that risk and going into Sharlock. If 16 is go, and Nim doesn't have any trouble getting down, they are in prime position despite the lack of Healmore and the experience gap. That said, we're about to find out if 16 is go right here. 3 powers, 7 hit points, 16 MP. It is not go. That is potentially very bad for Nim. Nim is going to be repelling a lot of stuff on the way down here. Could actually technically be repelling this Star Wyvern if they have Fairy Water, which they don't. Ooh, that's going to be another slowdown potentially. So that is going to be very, like, 88 is probably not going to cut. Like, you can technically try it. I don't want to bust out the odds calculator on that, but I don't feel like it's good odds. You basically have to hope for melees, because basically any DL2 breath will send you into Healmore range. Meanwhile, also having to use a hurt wound doesn't get an effect, so dies. Oh, this is really bad for Surf and Turf. Their gamble wouldn't have paid off anyway, but will pay off even less now because Nim did not manage to even make it down to the spike tile or to the bottom floor Sharlock at all, which was the one upside still with 92 defense points, even without words escaping me. Even without 16 being go level, if spike tile was something that was broken at 92, which I don't know that it actually can be. Now that I think about it, I think where's the green dragon? Green dragon's 88, yeah. So if it had been a green dragon on the spike tile in Sharlock, they could have very easily just had Nim sit the green dragon, which would have been broken, and maybe it would have just been enough to just get the level and then be in position to fight immediately. But without being able to get down there to even find out, that was basically just a complete and utter time loss by Surf and Turf. And that is something they cannot afford because they were already behind by about 2,000 experience, although it has actually gotten a little bit closer for a little bit. While Nim using the inn and doing some various shop actions, the lead did shrink back down a little bit, especially because now Destiny and Arturius will be doing the same thing, potentially. Yeah, this is going to be probably the same plan right here on Arturius' side, but Arturius also doesn't clear out inventory. And Slemu also out of MP. Ooh. Really love to see Fairy Water for the teams diving right now, because they're going to be repelling a fair bit in Sharlock up through Green Dragons, and potentially, depending on the level, could even repel something like a Blue Dragon or an Axe Knight something, if you get a bit more DP. Oh, true, yeah. It could be a situation where you want to just swing at the defense broken things. I don't know that we've seen too much of some of these enemies, but nope, casting Repel instead. That said, that cast of Repel certainly won't cost them. The MP is absurd. If you could just flip the MP and the HP, you would be fantastically go. But speaking of go, that 32 HP is gonna do it. Oh boy. Arturius will not be fighting anything and has free reign to just repel all the way down. Meanwhile, that HP will also be really nice if you run into a bad encounter that wants to take some HP off you, because it gives you more run opportunities before you have to do anything. So this is... Nim is about a floor, half a floor, somewhere in that range ahead of Arturius. But this lead could shrink, especially since Nim isn't repelling anymore. And they're still going to be a fair bit away from the level. So, unless Slimu just really manages to tear through this experience lead, which, to be fair, 2,000 away, maybe can tear through it. Now, Nim getting encounters and swinging through them, that is going to give Arturius very likely a way to catch up here. Because Arturius is just running from everything, and I believe is about to pass, I believe just passed Nim's location. Yep, that just passed Nim's location. This is very likely going to be a win for Destorius. Meanwhile, speaking of Destorius, you see Destiny on the right side just setting off, waiting at that shop in Cantlin. Very quick to get to, but with this much resources, like this is one of those situations where Archfield and I, for instance, love double diving. When you've got 130 something MP, you don't need to double dive. Just have one player go and sit in front of Cantlin, because if Sharlock takes like 50 MP, it would have to take from you at this point. It was never going to happen in the first place. Speaking of Sharlock taking things, that doesn't make any sense. Speaking of Sharlock, Nim nearing the bottom floor and also nearing the level. That said, Arturius talking to the Dragon Lord, and unless you miss menu, this is basically like you could roll minimum on all your fairy water, and I think you still clear the range. Speaking of, 15 as the first roll, that will not be a minimum. So Arturius and Destiny, the team of Destorius duo, first into the Dragon Lord fight. They handed, not handed because it isn't head-to-head, but they bested Surf and Turf on the left twice in the regular season. And if they even it up here, that's it for Surf and Turf. Nim will manage to make it to the Dragon Lord. A bit of a troll axe-side encounter, just a step away. But we'll be in position to do this now as well. Did go through a lot more resources on the way down due to all the fighting. That said, 109 still very much enough in general. The problem is, if that was enough, obviously, Arturius going into this fight with about 130 was far and away cherry on top. And I don't know what the count is, but I imagine the Dragon Lord will be going down soon on the right-hand side, barring a miss menu. 22 Shoes saying about 113, so around 4 more fairy water, probably, depending on the rolls. 15, a very good roll. That should be 137. So that means in kill range, potentially with any fairy water around now. And that's why you see Destiny returning to Tangel and just walking that spot. These states are shared. So the second the Dragon Lord is defeated on one side, it will proc on the other side and get your GG out. That is Destorius Duo. I won't call it an upset because, again, they finished tied in points. But because of that, they will manage to take out the Dragon Lord and take out Surf and Turf in an absolute, just absurd finish here. It really just came down to Nim trying that first dive into Sharlock at level 15 without Heal More. and not managing to get away from, I believe, an armor knight. And just all of that time of taking half the experience, like it's a gamble you can definitely make, but that is the downside. If the next level isn't the go level, all of a sudden you are just stuck gaining half the experience and falling further and further behind. Meanwhile, we will be having Destiny, at least, potentially also Arturius, joining us in the booth. Meanwhile, we will also have Surf and Turf joining them in victory. They will be finishing just a minute and a half, actually a little bit closer than that, after. So get your GGs out and chat again. Meanwhile, tell that NPC to get out of the way on Slamu's side. Considering the divergent courses early on, this was an absolutely close finish. And speaking of our racers, we have Arturius joining us in the booth. GG Arturius.
Hello, thank you for the GGs. Appreciate it.
And we also have Destiny of a Dragon Warrior. Hello, Destiny and GG.
And
that was honestly one of the most exciting co-op races that I've seen in the tournament so far. That was a absolute nail biter in terms of the lead down the stretch and even early on, just changing hands so much. How's it feel to get the win in advance?
Oh, it feels wonderful. We felt like it would probably be, if it would go well for us, it would mean that it would have to be close. If it didn't go well for us, we knew that Nim and Slamu were going to just wipe the floor with us. So our hopes were for it to be a close race, not only for the viewers' entertainment, but for our own sake. And it seems to have turned out that way. I didn't look at the race room until Artorias began the walk through Sharlock. I peeked in and said, they haven't finished yet. Very, very exciting.
Speaking of the other team, hello and welcome in Big Slamu. GG on the finish.
Thanks. GG's, guys. Congratulations.
Yeah, GG's, Slamu. Thank you.
That's what I get for sending Nim into Sharlock without Healmore. So.
That was, speaking of that, the big turning point. It was basically a flat-footed tie at that point. But the combination of the death in Sharlock at level 15 and then the fact that level 17 was the go level and not level 16 meant that you just didn't quite get experience down the stretch quite as fast as the Storius, and that really, despite being in Sharlock before level 17 on Nim's side, really is what ended up doing it. You were actually ahead, Nim was, until the choice floor in Sharlock, and that's when, during an encounter, Nim got passed by, I believe, Destorius. I believe Destiny was the one doing the fight on the Destorius duo, or was it Arturius?
It was me. I don't trust Destiny to do something like that.
Yeah, I figured it was time to get aggressive on 15. Knowing I mean, honestly, even like 92 HP, I would have had Nim go with that MP, but
yeah.
Honestly, I'm not fully convinced that was an unwinnable level on 16.
We had talked about that where we saw it with 88 HP and it's like, oh gosh, that's not enough. And we even hesitated a little bit. I in particular is like, man, if we just had a little bit more like low 90s with all of this MP and we did full gold grind, so we had silver shield, like if we just had a couple more, we could do this. But with 88, every single DL2 breath would put us into a mandatory heal more, and didn't feel comfortable about taking that risk, and we knew we'd be able to bang out another level pretty quickly. But it crossed our mind, and it was the temptation was there.
Yeah, Nim never got to Swamp Cave, so we didn't have the exact path, and like for me to basically navigate him there while grinding would have probably just taken too much time, which is why we never did a double dedicated grind.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, like the first dive, throw that out of the way. Like I think we almost perfectly balanced the grind to the point where we hit 17 as he hit the bottom floor. It gave me time to go to Cantlin and almost zero downtime. So it felt good. Like outside of that one misplaced dive, I think we would have had it. But that's why we play the games.
It was exceedingly close, and that was actually despite differences in mindset. So speaking of that, let's ask both of you. Distorius, you ground that, I believe it was South Zone, with the Poltergeist and some other enemies until like level 10 before doing really any exploration beyond Cantlin and maybe Cole. Like, what was your mindset on that opening grind?
Grind to survive. We had low ish HP, and then nothing that we could really take out a treasure card with. It felt really bad when we did find Stone's Cave with that key, but yeah, until then, I mean, it was just grind to survive, and without anything that we could get outside of finding Grim with keys or, loose key like we did, nothing really would have helped us, or we wouldn't have been able to get to it. So just having both of us getting, together 50 XP a fight essentially made everything go pretty darn quick.
Yeah, and with in particular the Drolls and the Poltergeist rolling up in their experience on the random but consistent XP, the thought of, well, maybe there's another zone with wolves or wraiths, something that would be in standard a superior zone. It's possible if we would have found those enemies that they would have rolled down on experience and been only marginally better than what we had in front of us.
Yeah, Nim asked me, he's like, what if we find a wolf zone? I'm like, Nim, I guarantee that a wolf zone is not as good as this. Like, it's just too good. It's funny because I thought we grinded for a while there, and I mean, I don't know. I'm usually one known to grind pretty heavy. Nim's more the explorer, so I kept kind of holding him back. But I'm like, the only thing that'll help us is a key, right? Because of treasure guards, and of course, the first thing we find in the swamp is a key, and I thought we were second to the key by a long shot, so I'm not complaining about it. We got it, and obviously turned that into an immediate gold grind, but then we probably overthought our skill level trying to take out that green dragon a couple of times. So
Yeah, you definitely had more deaths on the green dragon, but like I say, you were hitting like one of the levels late. I don't remember which level, but you were hitting it. Maybe it was Hurtmore, but you hit it like within like 5 seconds of each other. So the race was absurdly tight throughout. You did find the key much faster, and then you just you and Nim got a big exploration lead, while Destorius managed to get up a big experience lead to ground that zone until I believe level 10, the 2000 level, and then finally started setting out. So.
Did you guys find the all the way to the south zone with wyverns, magi wyverns, axe knights?
I believe so. I think, wasn't there also a werewolf in that zone, which made me not want to stay there because the two I encountered in Grave, I think, both slept me. So I was like, nope, don't want to deal with that.
I know there was a warlock. The last enemy might have been a werewolf, but Nim and I probably got 1,000 XP out of it.
Yeah, by the time
that zone was sweet.
Yeah, it definitely was. We were fighting wyverns and magic wyverns all throughout the overworld. But yeah, by the time we did our gold grind and everything, we were very survivable, and I think we very efficiently explored that overworld too.
Yeah, I don't think we did. We got everywhere and some places twice. And yeah, lots of little things. I'm going to yell at Nim forever for taking his time selling 2 torches instead of just loading up on the fairy waters he could fit. I don't think selling 2 torches makes a difference, but back and forth across Cantlin twice has got to be at least 40 seconds.
Yeah, I had Destiny clear inventory because I was just diving at 17 anyway, so I'm like, might as well.
Didn't have any wings in inventory. This would have been a perfect opportunity to wing out of Cantlin to go home. That's an inside joke.
I would prefer not to swing at like 24 on the Dragon Lord Destiny, thank you.
Yeah, we did peek out towards the east a little bit. Saw there was Droll Magi with Demon Knights, and that continued to compel us to just stay home and continue to grind the Droll and Poltergeist. We did find a blue dragon over there, not super early, but by the time we were almost at the gold grind, I believe, and we found out that there it is on the screen here. Or that's the DL2. The blue dragon seemed like it had 99% hurt on it and tried to damage race it, and it was like a good minute of a fight, but it was worth 220 experience. But we didn't sit there and dedicate and try to be lucky and take another one.
Yeah, it's a really rewarding fight if you can get it, but apparently 50% hurt, so there is some danger at lower HP totals.
It's always a little nerve-wracking when we don't find Hawk's Nest or Swamp Cave very quickly, because you never know with these flags if there's going to be that particular blue dragon sitting there for 220 experience that we could have been sitting and grinding on, and now we're 3,000 experience behind because we found it 5 minutes later. But fortunately, just the Axe Knight and Stone Men who didn't roll up, so we were fortunate in that regard too.
Well, I'm not sure how much longer everyone's going to be awake, since this is a bit of a nightcap for many time zones. So, any final thoughts for all 3 of you?
Just want to do my typical thank you, Camion, RG, and Man, for putting this on. It's going to be fun to watch back, and GG's to Slamu as well. Even though probably can't win in the summer tournament, it was it's always an honor to play against very good players, and so hope you do the best that you can here come summer. So
yeah, thank you guys, and obviously, I mean, throwing thank yous out there. Thanks to Archfield, Arturius, Cyberdark, Destiny, Dragolf, Mand, and Metal Dream in alphabetical order for putting this co-op challenge on. I think the 20 of us that played in this had an absolute blast, and it's my favorite way to play Dragon Warrior. So thank you guys for putting it together, and appreciate everything that you guys are doing to make that happen.
Saying thank you to all the volunteers. Thank you for Archfield for being the lead and organizing this awesome tournament. GG, Slamu, and Nim and Vob. It's a pleasure racing against you tonight, and looking forward to the finals. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So, as noted by our racers, I didn't say it early on because the seed really quickly with that south zone and the 2 Fairweather developed into a bit of a foot race at the start. But Camion, our restreamer, RG365, our tracker, Camion, also our tracker, and I have been manned, desperately trying to keep up with what was a bit of a, at times, quick seed. We do not have a raid, but we do in the future on Tuesday at a time that I do not currently remember because I just got home from a trip, have the second of the 2 semifinals at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Will be Wraithchild, Metal Dream, and Dragolf up against Race Fast Safe Car, which is Archfield and myself, to decide the second team in the finals. So look forward to that. We also, as noted and on the calendar there, have the summer tournament coming up. So if you are interested in that, it's coming fast. Asyncs are currently underway for you to sink your teeth into and enter if you'd like, or just do the asyncs and never enter. But it will also be a bit of a bonanza starting soon. So there'll be more Dragonwire Randomizer soon. And for now, good night, everybody.